Death or insomnia? I'm not sure which is worse, but at least with death you get to sleep. It's like my imagination has the personality of an attention-starved golden retriever. You know what I'm talking about. You're just lying there, almost ready to fall asleep, and then boop! Hey, you sleeping? I think the only true remedy for this is to get the ideas out of your head and onto paper. And that is exactly why I created the Slightly Sinister Project Book. So, fellow insomniac, this is my gift to you. A playground for your imagination so you can finally get some sleep at night. Now, let's take a look inside. Let's talk projects. As a general rule of thumb, I spend at least 75% of my time in the planning phase. I'm warning you because you're going to spend 3 times the amount of effort trying to fix problems you should have seen coming to begin with. You'll eventually run into Murphy and his 8 ball of randomized doom and gloom, but you can't help that. If you do run into trouble, try wearing a fancy hat. See if it helps. Now some basic info. Category is the subject of your project. Use words like sewing, baking, decor, Halloween, and so on. Not everything will have a deadline, however writing one in timeline will help you backwards plan. No one likes to hear, "I'm still working on your gift" on Christmas morning. Next up, we have title. Ugh, not now! What if I try tap and another tap? Keep it together. We can do this. Anyway, under budget, come up with a realistic amount you're willing to spend and try to stick to that number. This next section is a sort of creative writing exercise where you write descriptor words to remind you of a certain feel or atmosphere you want to portray. These are words that inspire you. I guess murder does inspire some people? Can we not use this book to become serial killers, please? I don't think I could live with the guilt. Intended use. If you plan for this to be a family heirloom, then your materials are obviously going to have to stand the test of time and repeated use. Next we have location. Mantle, entryway, garden, surface of the sun, just to name a few. Below that we have considerations. I went ahead and listed out several things to think about concerning a wide variety of potential projects. Feel free to edit them out of the PDF if you want to write your own, or you just don't want them there. Start preemptively solving some of these potential issues here, not after you've purchased supplies. Obstacles and hazards is a big one. Go ahead, ignore this section. Stand outside your house as a 5-alarm fire consumes it on Christmas Eve. And here's your shopping list. Finally, the fun part of doodling out your idea. Whoa, that's a spicy meatball. Haha, nothing to see here, folks. If you don't behave, we're taking a little trip to the fireplace. I just wish I lived in a wonderful world of magic. So stupid. Moving right along. This next section is for you to write out your entire process. You're going to want to try and be as detailed as possible. This is also where you can chop your project into more manageable bits if your life tends to take on a more hectic pace. And here we go with measurements. Keep your notes organized with a title and group your measurements. See, that actually applied to what I was talking about, so I know you were choosing to not be helpful. Go away for the rest of the video and I'll let you binge watch Supernatural for the rest of the day. Ha! That's all it took? Alright. Moving on. Drawing straight lines is the bane of my existence, which is why I've tucked several pages of grid paper behind my measurement section. Triple check your measurements, check them again, then cut. If you don't, you deserve what you get. This last section is for people to come up with witty one-liners for their online content. A word of advice, be your authentic self, you're cooler than you think. Don't do online stuff, then just use it to keep track of how many times you burn yourself with the hot glue gun. One last thing, don't forget to have fun. Now, if you don't mind, I have some Supernatural to binge. If you'd like to see more of this, go to patreon.com/slightlysinister or stop by my Instagram @SinisterSarah.